It is inspired by a character that Adam Carolla has been doing on his radio show for years. He's a...
This is a series, a TV series?
Yes.
TV series, yeah.
It is, he is a curmudgeon-y shop teacher that is like wood shop teacher in schools who is incredibly traditional, incredibly, everything he does is tangible. It is about as traditional as you can get, working with, tools and wood. And he's watching as the world just changes around him, as things get more technologically advanced, as the world gets more progressive, as the school is trying to push him out.
Yeah.
Saying your job is not as important. And so it follows his...
And what role do you play?
Play his daughter.
I see.
Yes.
I see. And what's the character of his daughter?
She's she actually reminds me a lot of myself. She's incredibly precocious, very smart, very close with her father.
And who's the target market for it?
I think the target market is people that have felt abandoned by comedy, who watch, animated TV shows, who...
Adult? Is it an adult series?
Yes, it's an adult series. Yes, that's an important thing.
Okay.
And who are wanting comedy that is truthful, that is not afraid to pull punches, that I think that the common man will relate to. It has some satire. I wouldn't say that it is satire, but it has many satirical elements to it. It's the writing is incredible. They brought me on, and I didn't really know what to expect. And I had done voiceover a lot, but had not done it in a few years. And that's always interesting because we recorded this whole series. I play a very significant role in it. Have not met Adam yet. I have not, Megan Kelly plays my mother in it.
Oh, yeah.
I have never met Megan yet. I'm meeting her next week for the first time. But you record all of this completely remote.
She's quite a powerful force.
She is.
Yeah. And she's done extremely well on her own. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, two thumbs up for her.
Yes. Yeah, we brought her in for that. And, but you record it all remote. And so I only got to see bits and pieces of it. I knew that the scripts were fantastic. And then I started to sort of see the
When does it launch?
It launches this month.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's on the Daily Wire.
Yes, that'll be on Daily Wire.
Okay, let's talk about the Pendragon cycle.
Yes.
That's a huge enterprise for Daily Wire.
Huge.
They've poured a tremendous amount of resources into it.
It's the biggest swing we've ever taken.
Yeah.
Jeremy has ever taken.
So walk through it. I talked to Jeremy a bit about it on my podcast, but let's hear it from your perspective.
So the Pendragon cycle, and I'm sure Jeremy told you this, it is his favorite book series.
Yeah.
From the beginning. I mean, he has wanted to create this TV show for 30 plus years. This is something he's thought about, dreamed about, has physically written scripts for, and it was finally the time when we had the resources. It was a cultural moment. He was able to step away to direct a majority of it. He was the showrunner. He produced it. He wrote a significant portion of it. This truly is his... I mean, I can't speak for him, but in speaking with him while we were there and seeing him work, this is probably the most important thing that he's ever done.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we went to Hungary. I was there for 5 months. He was there for 7 months. And I was
Were you recording your podcast during that
same
as well?
time?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was the only Daily Wire host that is in the show.
What role did you play?
I play Merlin's wife. So it is an Arthurian legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Tale of and it follows the rise of Christianity through the lens of an Arthurian life. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking right, not legacy. And so I play Merlin's wife, and she is
she a good wife or
she's a very good.
She's a very good wife.
Yeah.
She's a good character.
She is. Yes, she's a very, very fun character to play.
Yeah.
She has a really beautiful balance of being incredibly strong, but also being very feminine and very empathetic and very sympathetic to Merlin's very unique experiences. And it was just a very, very fun character to play. And I saw a lot of myself in her. I got to do stunts that I've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
she's
like
a huntress. Wild time.
It was amazing. It was fantastic. It was a lot. It was very, very hard work.
Yeah, I bet.
We were filming the show.
How long did you do it
5
for?
months.
5 months.
Yeah.
So right.
And so
how many hours were filmed?
Oh gosh.
For the final series. Any idea what's going to come out of it?
I have no idea yet.
Okay.
And I know that they'll probably they'll have a first edit and then they'll cut it down and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
have you seen any of the edits?
I haven't yet. Jeremy's protected.
And when is it supposed to be? When is that supposed to launch?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Yeah. They're in full post-production now. I think that there is already a first round of edits that is finished, and now we have so much VFX that is going to go into this. So many VFX. there's just a lot of post-production that has to be done. But the very cool thing is, even though we are using some VFX, we did 90% of everything that you will see on the screen practically. We physically did it all. There was the series starts with an incredible sequence with Spanish bull leapers. And they were physically jumping over these bulls. One of my best friends who played the lead in Pendragon, Rose Reed, she was in the arena with these bulls. She trained for months to be able to look like one of these bull leapers. She was having to navigate around the bulls. I was on horseback with a spear, jumping over streams, chasing a boar. We were physically fighting. If there was an explosion that you see on screen, we felt the fire. There's a scene where I'm, running through, putting out a fire. I was basically covered in fire protection, which is like a goop that you put on so that you can't be set on fire, running through fire as people were being fully set on fire around me. It was absolutely incredible. They did not hold back.
Good thing you said yes to the Daily Wire.
Right? Isn't it
awesome? Kidding. No.
And it's very special because it's very full circle, because I get to go back and do what I love more than anything, which is tell stories. But I get to do it with people who I love and trust, who I know are not exploiting me as a child actor, who share my values and are genuinely creating content for the betterment of other people.
Right. Well, that's a good deal.
It is. Because I would read scripts that I would be sent in Hollywood, and I would look at it. I would say, I don't want to watch this. Like, these are terrible characters. They're sharing terrible messages. I don't even want to be a vessel through which this gets out to the public.
Right. Right.
And I knew that at a young age.
And you didn't have that feeling with the Pendragon cycle?
No, it's an incredible story. I haven't had that feeling with anything that I've done with Daily Wire. I think Mr. Bircham is incredible. I can stand behind that completely. The Pendragon cycle is a perfect mix of something that is meaningful in terms of its values and what it promotes, and the values of the characters that you will fall in love with, while also being something that is beautiful and that people objectively can enjoy. You're not going to sit down and say, I'm watching a Christian TV show.
Right.
You're going to enjoy it because it actually is very good, but you can know that the people who made it, the hours that were put in, Jeremy barely slept for 7 months.
Yeah.
But I've also never seen him happier, because this was
extreme.
I gained massive respect for him watching this take place. And he did it masterfully. And so you can feel good watching that. And it's incredible being an actor in that environment and being a vessel, because you really are a vessel. You go there, you stand, and you mold yourself to the character. And you lose a lot of yourself in doing that if you hate the project and if you hate the character you're playing. But if you're able to love the character, if you're able to love the production and the story you're telling, it makes it so much more meaningful, and you feel like you're actually part of something that can impact audiences, can impact the culture in a really important way.
So let's close with Snow White and the Evil Queen. So you were picked to play Snow White?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we announced it when we announced Bentkey, which is our children's division. And I think a lot of people assume that we had already filmed the movie when we released the trailer. It was very backwards. We did not do that. We were maybe a week into filming Pendragon, and I get a text from Jeremy, and he just goes, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm at my apartment." And he says, "I need you to meet me at the Parisi. Can you be here in 5 minutes?" And that was maybe an 8-minute walk. I was just like, yes. So if Jeremy asks anything, you say, yes, I'll be there. Sprinted out of the apartment. I get to the lobby of the Parisi, I sit down, and he says, "We want to do something that it might be impossible." And this was at the time that it was during the SAG strike, but everything was going viral about Disney Snow White.
Everything Disney.
Everything
perversion
Disney.
of the social order and the demolition of the narrative.
Yep.
Of
the destruction of values.
Traditional narrative.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's just rewrite this.
Be great every time.
Yeah. We'll improve it.
Yeah.
Yeah. These
with
ancient
their not
stories.
so secret gay agenda. And so that was in the middle of all of this happening, and I had obviously been following it. I had done episodes about it.
No, the gay agenda is a mask. It's just a destructive agenda.
It is.
It's just it's a demolition agenda with
all traditional values.
We're pro-inclusion. That's the mask. That's the mask. That's so that if you attack it, you sound like a bigot.
Yeah, then you can't. It's their wall.
Yeah, no, we're just bringing in the marginalized. It's like, Wait till you invite the real monsters out from underneath the rocks. You and you bringing in the marginalized. We're starting to see that happen already.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The maps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, oh, no, there's worse monsters than them, right? No. No matter how bad, there's no limit to what people are capable of doing, right? And so as you see one extreme emerge, you can be absolutely 100% sure that that new margin has a multiplicity of more extreme margins on its fringe.
Correct.
And there's no end to that. Well, the end is that everything collapses.
Yes.
That's how this has happened historically.
Yes.
So, okay, so Snow White, where are you? Where are you with this project?
We are in pre-production.
Yeah, you went to see Jeremy and he told you
yes. So I went to see Jeremy, and this was as everything with Snow White was happening, and people were very disappointed, very upset about the way that Disney was rolling out this project. The way that
they picked such a fun actress too.
It was, and you know, you've now heard me speak for I don't know how many hours we've been talking, but about my love of literature and stories. And I grew up reading classic literature. I grew up reading the traditional stories. I grew up reading Grimm's, and I love the stories underneath these fairy tales. And so as somebody who is more traditional and has a love and appreciation for stories, it's sad to watch these stories be completely destructed for that agenda. And so I had been watching this and commenting on it. And so Jeremy brings me in and says,
luckily they fail.
They do.
Right,
yes, they
because they're
do.
dull and preachy and obvious and transgressive in the casual manner, not in the creative manner. Right.
But yeah, Jeremy said we want to do the impossible, and we want to do our own Snow White. And we want to do it in line with the values with which it was written. We want to honor the story, and we want you to play Snow White. And Jeremy had been watching me work. No audition. Well, I think my audition had been the first month of Pendragon.
I understand your audition.
But he hadn't even really seen me act before that. He had, watched my TV shows and that kind of thing, but he really saw me during Pendragon.
Right.
And so this was about a month into Pendragon or so. And he said, I'm going to keep you updated. We're working on a script. And at that time, I think he had a very ambitious goal, because that's when Snow White was still going to be released, right around this time. He was like, let's try to film it during Pendragon. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. That did not happen. And I'm very glad that it didn't, because I think we will do the story
justice,
yes, with the right amount of time in the prep. And we got back from, no, actually, I'm skipping over the story of how we created the trailer. But Jeremy started working on music, and he had this idea for the trailer. Knew that we were going to be announcing the rollout of Benki and the 100 episodes of children's content that we had on the platform. He wanted Snow White and the Evil Queen to be the first feature film that we do on Benki. And so I got a call probably at 4:00 in the afternoon, and he said, I want you to fly to Trento, Italy tomorrow, because that's where we had been filming Pendragon that week. We jumped back and forth between Italy and Hungary. I want you to get on a plane, and you're going to fly out, and we have a costume that's being worked on for you. They're going to finish it in the next 6 hours on the plane with you, and you're going to fly out to Trento, you're going to fly into Milan, drive 4 hours up to Trentino, wake up the next morning, you're going to come up onto a mountain, another hour of drive, and then stand in this forest and sing. And Jeremy was sending me, oh gosh, I still have the recordings on my phone. One day I'll leak them to the public, but it's Jeremy on a piano app on his phone. And it's what you hear in the trailer. And he's singing it. He has an amazing voice, and he's an incredibly musician. And so he sent me the lyrics, he sent me the song, and he said, can you have this ready by tomorrow? I said, sure. And this man, I have never had to sing this high before. And I'm a soprano, but I'm not that soprano. I texted him back and said, Jeremy, this is not gonna, I sound like Tweety Bird. And so we went back and forth, and he sent me one in a lower octave. I said, this is much better. And he was all nervous. He was going, this sounds really low. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, this is still really high. So I get up to Italy. We record it. We record it in the middle of shooting Pendragon. So in the middle of a scene, some of my other Pendragon cast is 6 feet away. And at this point, they don't even know we're doing Snow White because it has not been announced to anyone. Jeremy said, do not tell your mom. Do not tell Alex. Do not tell anybody. We have like 3 people who know that this is happening. Nobody can know. So I'm sitting here in this princess dress thinking this is really not the wardrobe that everybody else is wearing. They're going to know. I'm like huddled up, literally hidden. The rest of the cast is over doing something else. Jeremy says, hey, we're going to film a little commercial for a Daily Wire thing that we have to do. Gets the crew to turn around, points the cameras on me, and we film this teaser. And then I fly back to Budapest, and I keep going on comment section and keep going on Pendragon. And then I wait to hear what we're going to do with it. And then it launches with BenKey, with a BenKey rollout. It's a huge success. And then I just sit and I wait. I'm like, all right, Jeremy, when are we going to film this? Got back to Nashville. We wrapped Pendragon. It was a raging success. I truly think people are going to love the series. And then we've now rolled into pre-production for Snow White and the Evil Queen. So I'm in voice lessons, 3 to 4 times a week. I was classically trained as a singer when I was young, but I moved more into pop when I was older and have not sung seriously in many years. And so I'm retraining that muscle. I'm in dance classes every week. It's a musical. We're super excited about it. And that's what I can tell you. And there's a lot of people that I see comments every single day and they're like, what can you tell us about X, Y, and Z? It's all coming soon. We'll be able to share more soon, but it is an incredible adventure, and it's just always a joy and an honor to collaborate with Jeremy specifically. I mean, he's incredibly creative. He takes incredible risks. I think I've learned even more about risk taking by working for him and working with him. That was one thing that I felt incredibly comfortable with and excited about when I came to Nashville and I came to Daily Wire, was I could not have asked for better mentors than the people that I'm surrounded with. I mean, I told you, I got this job when I was 19, and I walk into a room and I was, with Jeremy Boring and Dallas Saunier, who was one of the, greatest producers to come out of Hollywood in recent years, has just an incredible story. Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, Ben, just the fact that I remember meeting you when we were about to announce that you were joining Daily Wire and you were doing a photo shoot. And I was in my studio and I think you had asked, can I meet the YouTube girl? And I about just fell out of my chair. But I just could not have asked for a better group of people. And they encourage me. I grow every single day, not just in my career, but I learn from all of you, emotionally and spiritually and in my personal life. And that's just an incredible, incredible gift.
Typical Hollywood story.